Alright, this is a good video. How to tell the difference between inverse fair value gaps and fair value gaps. First off, how to tell if a fair value gap has been inversed, if it's valid, and what to do when it does get moved on. Alright, so let's do it. Looking at yesterday. This fair value gap is created. What else is there? Some 5-minute ones. I'm just picking out like all the fair value gaps. That's like 9 p.m. So if you guys don't know what a fair value gap is, go check out a video that explains it, because there's a bunch out there. Alright, so session opens. Let's actually just forget about these two real quick. Session opens, and is this yesterday? No, it's fucking Tuesday. Whatever, we'll do 2 days. Session opens, bullish fair value gaps made here on the 5-minute. Actually, no, we'll just do one 50-minute one, because that holds more validity. One 50-minute one, alright? And it gets inversed straight away. So a normal fair value gap is like that, right? It's an imbalance. And I say an inverse fair value gap is when price like normal fair value gap from here to here. An inverse is when price comes through. Actually, normal respect of a fair value gap happens when price comes in and just like taps it or wicks below, if it wants to even wick below, but at least it gets to like halfway. If I'm entering off of a fair value gap that's been respected, it has to wick to halfway at least. That's how I have it, and then it'll come out top again, right? There will be a circumstance where that has happened. I think it happened yesterday. I had it in my Discord. I mean, this one here was respected. Yeah, boom. This one here, right here. So that was at 9 o'clock. So that was this one. That's a bit late, so I don't even trade that. But this was just fucking chop work before. Actually, no, the 15-minute one also that went short on. So there was... Okay, so first off, there is this 15-minute fair value gap. And also with fair value gaps and inverse fair value gaps, the higher the time frame, the more valid. And I would not plot any fair value gaps on any time frame lower than the 5. So only the 5 and 15. If it's major chop work, then maybe go to the 2-minute, but I keep it 5 and 15 full stop, because they just hold more validity, and that's what I've seen in the markets. Like, yeah. Oh, that's actually a 15-minute one too. Right? So first off, with this one, that is a bearish fair value gap because it's made on a bearish movement, right? And that gets respected really well. Let's go down to the 5. Not really well, it just gets respected. So it pretty much taps equilibrium. We can say that's hit halfway. And then on the first, I would get in, and I actually did get in, on the first bearish candle, this one, I would get in on the first bearish candle closing out of the fair value gap. which, oh, they actually changed. Oh, I'm on the Pepperstone ones. Hold on. Embarrassing. Yeah. 15 minute. I was getting that for half a key. Yeah, see, these CME ones are way better because, see, price actually hit halfway, and then on the first 15-minute candle closing out of the fair value gap, there's a bit of chop work. Like, this is major chop work. Like, this isn't even like a good trade, like a good session to trade, and it would still work as a position because fair value gaps are just good.
How many videos have you got out today, Ben?
I'm in the middle of one.
What?
I'm in the middle of one.
Are you editing it?
I'm recording it. So.
Right now? Am I in the video?
Yes. And I'm not editing you out because that's annoying. But. Yeah, so first 5-minute candle closing below. You go short on it. You keep stop loss above the halfway because only get in on a fair value gap if it's been respected, if it's tapped equilibrium, the halfway point, right? And then take profit at these lows is where I had it, and it hit nice and good, but whatever. Oh, shit. So it hits equilibrium, and at this point you're like, okay, it's hit equilibrium, that's good. Now potential shorts, but you always have to consider both positions. It could continue through an inverse, but I'll explain how that happens later. So it respects it. First 5-minute candle closing below, get in on, and if you really want to be safe, you can have your stop loss at the fair value gap or even above it. But since prices hit equilibrium, it's normally pretty shackers. Like, and the crazy thing is, this is in an overall bullish trend, and still that short would work because fair value gaps are just imbalances, which is liquidity, and liquidity is what market movers want to hit and take out. And literally off of any fair value gap, if it's respected, price will move in the direction. It's a high probability trade, like it just is. So that happens, right? And then it gets further disrespect, and then after that it gets inversed by this candle smacking through it, right? But that's not a very good example for an inverse. Let's just talk about fair value gap real quick. Here is another fair value gap. 5-minute. Boom. Really good respect of it. Classic. It wicks. See, this is fine because a fair value gap is inversed. Let's say, wait, wait, that's just really bad, hold on. Something like that. Here to here. A fair value gap is respected if price comes here, and if it wicks below and then goes up, that's fine. If it closes below, that's not fine. Price will inverse it then, probably, yeah? So that's that. And because price only wicks, and this is all on the 5 and 15 minute. That's the only ones that hold validity. And then price here wicks it. That's good. It takes it. And that's fine. And you would not get entered in here on any false promises because price is not broken out yet when it wicks below. So it wicks below, W respect. Price breaks out. And I'm pretty sure it closes above. Yep, look at that. Closes above. And amazing longs. Like, those are really good longs. And because they're in direction of bias on this hourly here, like you see how high lows, high highs, it's just bullish. And then even on the 4 hourly, it's bullish. So that's just good bullish action. And that's a very high probability trade again. So that's a W. See, that's just like perfect textbook. That's just perfect. Like, yeah. And even if you fucking just got in on the close of it out, and just shot for these highs here and just had your stop loss here, that's a nice trade. A 1-to-1. That's solid. That is solid. And then, okay, let's talk about inverses. 15-minute for this one. Whew, that's a fatty inverse, but New York always doing that shit, so whatever. Alright, this is Tuesday's session. So no, oh wait, there actually is. There's a little fair value gap there on the 15, and of course 15-minute ones, more validity. Afterwards I have a couple of other good examples actually to show. I'll show them after. So that's, so that is a bearish fair value gap. It's a bearish one. That's just slow. Bearish fair value gap, and look, 5-minute chart. 5-minute. See, on the 5-minute, a single candle has pretty much just smacked through it. I see that, and I'm like, inversed. And look, it has inversed. It's fucking running like crazy. So an inverse of a fair value gap is when... Oh, that's not what I want. Oh. The inverse of a fair value gap is when... So when there is a fair value gap... So when there is a fair value gap and price comes, and in a couple of candles, so in... These are 5-minute candles or 15-minute, depending. If it's a 5-minute fair value gap, or a small 15-minute fair value gap, like this. This is a small 15-minute fair value gap, which means since it's a small 15-minute fair value gap, I'm looking for it to either be respected or invalidated, or inversed, same as invalidated, by 5-minute candles, because it's a small 15-minute one. And I could just mark it up as a 5-minute one. So I'm on the 5-minute here. Single 5-minute candle smacks through and closes. It actually closes... No, it closes out. Look at that, even better. It closes through, which is, so that's what an inverse fair what an inverse fair value gap is. Price will just mac through it and close on the other side in a couple 5-minute candles, or like one 15-minute candle. Like, look at this. Massive fair value gap. Boom. Just 3 straight bullish candles. There's no retracements in there, nothing, just straight through. But even if price is slower, like even if there is retracements in here, you would not get in short and be faked out by a respected fair value gap because price is not closed below. So you would not be faked out. Alright? So that's that. And then also, I've actually noticed recently, some recent learning, fair value gaps can be respected initially and then inversed. Like yesterday, this one, 15-minute, right? Decent respect. But it's not done because the top half is still chilling. It hasn't been touched. That imbalance is still there. Right? And look at that. After it's been respected, it then gets inversed. That's crazy. So it gets inversed. Massive candle smacking through it. Bow. And then look, it fucking runs away. That's gangster. That's gangster. Like that candle, that candle actually doesn't close above. So you wouldn't enter off that because it doesn't close above. Yeah, no, that's annoying. Oh, that is a 15-minute candle though. So you actually would. Oh, no, it's not. Doesn't matter. Okay, so that's that. So that's fair value gaps. How to tell if they're respected. How to tell if they're being inversed. And how to enter on them if they're respected. You enter on them if they're respected on the 5-minute close in whichever way is respect of the fair value gap, so a bearish one on the bottom side, once equilibrium has been hit. And then inverse occurs when price just smacks through it. Boom. Easy as that. And yeah, I mean, there's other things to help, like breaker structure and stuff. But like that one has that candle breaking below, and that closes out well after, and it creates a bearish breaker structure. But breaker structure, I've noticed, doesn't really, not that major. Like, yeah. And then for inverse, yeah, same shit. Let me check his. Yeah, and then on the way up, like on this move, you see here, there's hella movements made. Look at that. There's hella fair value gaps made. And on the move up, it's hard to catch these. Because after an inverse like this, I've noticed, I'll just mark this because that's a big bit of imbalance, big bit of liquidity, instead of going to the 15. So it inverses this really well. It's fucking running. Especially with this bullish movement or before. Like, she's gonna fly away. And after it's just retraced. And I think that was from previous, I think this was from some highs somewhere, right? These highs? Yeah, that was what it is. Oh. Yeah, so it takes these highs, retracement, and when it retraces like this, after a liquidity sweep, it can either turn bearish, or and hold bearish, or it's going long, and that all depends on how it reacts to this fair value gap it's just made on the way down. And you see with this bearish fair value gap it's made, it gets inverse just like that. So price is gonna run away, and when it runs away like that, it creates hella fair value gaps on the way up. Like nothing, tiny one there, one here, and look at this one. Look at this one. Wicks in perfectly. Wicks in halfway perfectly and closes way out. Like, that's a good long right there. That's like, boom. You get in on the close of that candle. So like here, have stop loss maybe here. And I don't know where take profit would be actually, let me see. Oh yeah, these highs. Boom, again, just a 1 to 1.6, and that's not even a decent position. Like, and because these are strong highs, and when price sweeps liquidity, it goes above. So you have it a little bit above, not much. You would have it a little bit above, just to catch a little bit more RR. But you don't want to lose out on it, so just a little bit above. But yeah, that's fair value gaps and inverse fair value gaps. How to determine which is which. Any questions? Let me know in the comments.